How you doing?
Good. So you started the band back in '99?
Yes, I did.
How did that come about?
I was playing with a friend of mine, Kelly Keeling, in a band in San Diego, and he was doing an album with Michael, the Unforgiven album, and I guess they, the prior keyboardist, guitarist left the band, and they had asked him if he knew of anybody, and they said, you need to talk to Wayne Findlay and give him a call. So they called me up and asked me if I wanted to audition for Michael Schenker.
Yeah.
So I said, of course. So was absolutely thrilled and had 30 songs to learn in a month.
Right.
So I went up and then about a week later they called and asked if I wanted to audition for Vinnie Moore at the same time.
Right.
And I said, of course. So that added another 14 songs to learn. So I had like 44 songs.
You can't
keyboards.
say no.
Oh, of course. Two of my heroes, you know what I mean? So I went up and auditioned and got both gigs.
How much pressure was there to learn all those songs?
It was a lot of pressure. That was probably the most nerve-wracking experience of my life. I mean, playing, you know, and auditioning for two of my heroes in the same day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was pretty stressful. But I was, you know, after it happened, it was all, you know, downhill from there. So
it was all downhill. So basically, you're doing the two tours that year, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd play an hour with Vinnie Moore, and then play 2 hours, and then a half an hour break, and then 2 hours with Michael.
Wow.
Every night, you know, for 6 weeks or whatever.
Wow.
It was.
Wow. So you've been in the industry for quite some time, and you've played with so many different musicians. You know, I mean, it's just countless of who you've been playing with. Who would you say has been sort of your influence?
Influence?
Influence. You know, as far as playing with, like, this is the guy, you know, I wanted to play with, and, you know, what do they bring to you?
Right. Geez, that's so tough because I've had the blessing of playing with so many awesome, incredible
talented
musicians,
people, right?
and famous to boot, you know, people. So one of my favorites, I mean, there's so many, but to name them all, but Simon Phillips was really awesome to play with him. I've always been a big fan of his, and to actually play with him, and Uli, of course.
Yeah. And then you're able to learn off Uli, I would imagine, right? He would give, you know, possible guitar tips, or...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I've known him for years, and I just played a tour with him in South America over the summer.
Okay.
So I did kind of the double duty thing again. I played with Uli for an hour, and then played with Michael for, you know, 2 hours a night over the summer.
No rest for the wicked, then, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're playing with, you know, people that are your, you know, guitar heroes, you know, growing up, and now having the opportunity and the blessing to be able to play with these people has been incredible.
So you also play keyboards too?
Yes.
So why do both?
Well, I started on piano, so when I was 5, and I started guitar about 8, and then started taking lessons about 11.
Yeah.
And
then you went to university.
And then I got a scholarship for San Diego State for classical guitar and composition and performance.
Yeah.
So
So do you prefer one instrument over the other? Like, do you prefer to be more of a guitarist, or do you sort of home in on sort of the keyboards, or?
Well, I have, you know, I play both, so I consider myself more of a composer. You know, as a musician, it's whatever you know.
Yeah.
The need is called for. You know, I write all my own music too. No Sky Today and Slavier and other bands.
That's right. You have that project. So how's that going?
It's going good. I've been really busy with Michael, so I haven't had a lot of time to. We started a second album. We released one album.
It's on the Reverb Nation there. You released some tracks on there.
Yeah. So what we have a CD. I can get you a CD if you'd like.
Cool.
And you can check it out. And we started, we've done 4 songs in the studio, the beds, pretty much for those. And we got Pete Holmes playing drums now from Black and Blue, Michael Schenker.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about the new material. So we'll probably release these 4 songs. I'm hoping to finish them around summertime. And then just release it as an EP, because it's probably be a while before we can finish the whole album, just because I'm getting ready to start a world tour right now with
And it's a little bit more
Schenker.
heavier stuff too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So if you were to give any sort of I don't know, talk to any musician on how to make it in the music industry, what sort of advice would you give anybody that would want to start out? Because you've been through that, right?
Right, of course, yes. And it's kind of difficult to kind of get your foot in the door, but once you kind of get your foot in the door, it becomes easier. I would recommend to meet and to if you're a musician, to play with as many different people as you can, as many different styles as you can. That's really important. Network. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And I would even suggest, as I did, it kind of helped, is to even guitar tech. Even though you want to be in the band, sometimes it's good to just guitar tech, and then you meet people, and then sometimes that can open the door. Hey, you're guitar tech, and then you find out someone needs a guitar player or a bassist or a drummer, and you can tell your friends or yourself or whatever, and kind of step in, hopefully. And I've seen a lot of people do it that way as well.
Yeah.
So.
And you also teach, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to, learn how to play, they should sort of call you.
Yes, they can. They can message me on Facebook or whatever, or on my website, WayneFindlay.com.
Yeah. And then obviously you teach in San Diego. That's
yes,
where
I
you're
do.
based on. Okay, so.
When I'm at home, so
exactly.
I
when you're not on
quite
the road.
a bit. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
So you have a new guitar.
Yes, I do.
New signature guitar, because you're kind of known to play the Dean.
Right.
The Razorback, but now you have your own guitar named the Trident.
Yes.
And I had read that I believe Michael helped you design it.
Yes. Well, Michael's nickname has always been Neptune for me.
Yes.
So, because I'm always in the water. I love the ocean, and I'm always in the water whenever I can. Like before sound check, I'm in the body surfing or just whatever, just anywhere I can, or diving or whatever. I just love to be in the water. So he's always, you're like Neptune coming out of the water. And then it was, I think it was about a year ago, we were ending a tour. He's like, I got this great idea. You're Neptune, you need a Trident. We should have Elliot from Dean Guitars build you a Trident guitar. And so Elliot said, well, hey, drop some designs and let's start there. So I drew up 9 designs. Michael and I both picked number 5 out of the designs, went with that, and then it took about another 6 months for him and I going back and forth on the graphic, because we wanted something that's...
Well, you want to make it right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and something that, it's yours.
Exactly. Yeah. So I designed it, I designed the graphic, we chose that graphic, and it plays incredible. It's my favorite guitar I own.
Wow. So. And I had noticed that you have the EMG pickups. A lot of guitarists, I believe, have the, I think it's the 85s, like a lot like Zakk Wylde, they'll use the 85s or 87s. But you use the 707s.
Yes.
Why do you pick those ones?
Those were just the ones that were in my Razorbacks, and I just love the sound of those ones. And to tell you the truth, I was just talking to Scott at EMG, and he sent me some pickups out, and I had him send me, I thought it was the 8185s, and it turns out they didn't fit in my Trident because of the 707s. The 80, I think they're similar.
Are they single coil, or are they?
No, they're double. They're double
doubles, yeah.
For sure. But they have the 8185s, I think, have the little pickup thing that goes around it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't think of what that's called right now, but anyway, that kind of holds the pickup. The 707s go right into the body, so there's no little plastic thing that goes around the pickup. So, but these pickups scream. They sound absolutely amazing.
Just a bit more of a warmer tone, or
no? They're well, I don't know. You'll have to hear it for yourself, but it's very aggressive pickup. Yeah. So those puppies scream.
So on this current tour, are there any songs that you really enjoy playing live? And if so, why? Yes.
I like the new one, Where the Wild Wind Blows. And of course the Neptune, that's the first song the intro, for obvious reasons. But Where the Wild Wind Blows is a lot of fun. It's a real heavy song, and it's real modern sounding, and it's really cool.
Nice.
And then of course I always love to play Shoot Shoot. That's a lot of fun, just straight ahead stuff. So after this tour is done, someone had told me that
there's a good chance that you guys won't be going under the Michael Schenker name, but instead going under the Temple of Rock. Is this true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're kind of leaning more towards now kind of rebranding or renaming the band Temple of Rock. So we're kind of working out with it right now. It's kind of under the moniker of Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock.
For sure.
But I think eventually we could lose the plan is to lose the Michael Schenker part and just brand it kind of like Thin Lizzy did with Black Star Riders.
Yeah.
So kind of lean in that direction, and that will include the lineup with Herman and Francis, joining Doogie and Michael and I.
Nice. Let me throw a couple names, and just give me a word or two on each artist.
Okay.
That's cool. Carmen Apiece.
Great guy.
Yeah.
I've known him for many years, and he's one of the first big people that I worked with Kelly and Carmine on Guitar Zeus. Teching for him, actually.
Nice. Lenny Wolf.
Lenny Wolf.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. I like Lenny. He was really cool. We were kind of in a band for a few months together, so it was a pleasure working with him.
Nice. Chris Slade.
Chris Slade. I love Chris Slade. Great guy.
Yeah.
A lot of fun to hang out with. Awesome drummer.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Willing to work with him again? At some
yes,
point?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pete Way.
Pete Way, I love Pete Way too. Such a sweetheart of a guy. It was great fun. We did a tour with him a couple of years ago. I think it was 2000 or more than a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I think. 2011 tour of the UK, and he would come in and sit in and do a couple songs with us. So it was a real honor and pleasure to play with Pete.
Doogie White.
Doogie White, he's so much fun. I love Doogie. He's a brilliant singer. I mean, he's just a natural and super funny guy. Great to hang with. He's like a brother. So
nice. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
So I can get you back to doing your meet and greets and whatnot. So, hope you have a great time tonight in Seattle. I'm sure the fans will. And thanks for taking the time to do this.
Anytime. Thank you.
Man. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.